What's up, everyone? Tyler Tamboline here, aka ToeTagginTambo, back for another edition of the Sunday Main Slate Show NFL here on the Ship It Nation YouTube station. Make sure to tap that thumbs up on the way in and subscribe to the channel. The last show, week 16 for the main slate before the holiday season. So hope everyone has a good holidays out there from Title, from Hoop, everyone at Ship It Nation and myself. We wish you the best. Let's go get to it though, Hoop. We got an 11-game slate here. Going to be breaking it all down. We got some, good games, especially in the afternoon. We'll talk about that when we get there. What's going on, my man? How you doing?
Yeah, doing well. Down to the end here, week 16 of the NFL season. We have a full slate, very solid slate. And then, starting next week, we have the Christmas 3-game slate. We talked about it where it gets like broken up a lot at the end, and then rolling into the playoffs, we start to see a lot of these 2-game slates, 3-game slates, and kind of started this week. So excited for this final stretch and excited to break down the slate with you guys today.
Yeah, before I bring my man Title in for another Free Money Sunday, I will say quickly, just a programming note, mentioning this show being the last main slate show, we will still have the Takedown Breakdown tomorrow with myself and Nades at 10 a.m. Eastern. At 2 p.m. Eastern, it'll be Title, Hoop, and myself. Actually, Title, I don't think you'll be there tomorrow, right? So Title will be back on Wednesday with us. We will have a special Christmas Day show on Christmas Eve, the 24th, at 10 a.m. Eastern. Hoop, Title, and myself. And then on Friday, Title and Hoop will cover the 2-game slate for Saturday. And then Alex and I will be back for the season finale of Leverage Lane for week 17. So let's get into it. Title, what's going on, my man? How you doing on this fine Sunday? I know pretty close call for you last night. I feel like we say that a lot, but your big one's on the way, man. That was insane that game even got to overtime and then the way it played out. But you were right there. I saw over on FanDuel. So, congrats, putting yourself in the right spots again.
Yeah, I'm done with these two. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, screw the Packers. It was a good football game, though. I'm ready for today. No better day than Free Money Sunday. So, yeah, I'm ready to get into it and forget about yesterday.
Yeah, speaking of Jordan Love, there was more love for Malik the Freak, Malik Willis.
Yeah.
People like this guy, and he's out there looking pretty good. All of a sudden, the recency bias is obviously incredible in the NFL, but once in all sports for that matter. But you see him going out, doing his thing, and then everybody's like, oh, man, he should be starting for another team. They just keep him for this team. They can deal with, figure out Love. It's like people just go to it immediately, but he did look pretty good out there. So, Hoop, I'm going to kick it to you, man. We've got 11 games. Give it to you as always for the grand scheme overview. If you want to break it down for us, there's a lot of stuff's already in place. There is a few pieces of news that we're waiting on, but I'll kick it to you first, man. Give us the grand scheme overview here.
Yeah, I mean, pretty clean. I mean, you look at it towards the end of the season, like 5-6 years ago, these last few weeks turn into like a mess. It'd almost be like a NBA type injury reporting and inactive reporting, and NFL done a pretty good job, and the beat writers and all that. So, not a ton that we're waiting on. Pretty clean. Might get a surprise here or there, but I don't think anything that's going to be too impactful to the slate. Have some solid games, some teams in some solid spots. You look at quarterback, I think, again, going to be spread out. I mean, it usually is, and it looks really spread out this week. I mean, I don't know, the highest owned guy might end up, we're showing the highest owned guy at like 11.5%, and that's Brissett. So going to be very spread out at quarterback. We know that it always is. And this week, even so, we're, 10%, somewhere right around 10% could be the highest owned quarterback. So, that's nice for when you go to stack, because you don't really need to worry about ownership in terms of what quarterback you're kind of going with. Running back, some, big name guys back in the mix. I think we've had some slates where people wanted to save. Looks like people are going to want to spend today. Jahmyr Gibbs in a really good spot at home against the Steelers, massive total. That's a game that's very appealing. Then you have Bijan Robinson looking pretty nice. His ownership, I think, will be held in check, though, because I do think a lot of people are going to prefer Gibbs over Bijan just because of that team total with the Lions. They're in a must-win situation at home in the Dome, so I think Bijan will have to be held in check, but very strong option there. Go to wide receiver. Same thing, like Amon-Ra is going to be very popular. DK Metcalf, people are going to want to be on that Lions and Steelers game for all the right reasons. Then, everything comes down a little bit when you start looking at ownership after those two guys, Amon-Ra and DK. It is the first slate in a while, though, where we haven't had Puka or JSN on the slate. So that does kind of change the dynamic at wide receiver. I mean, almost every single slate this year, main slate for the most part, because those guys haven't been on a ton of primetime. We started out with, hey, what are we doing with Puka? What are we doing with JSN? These guys aren't on the slate anymore. Puka obviously nuked on Thursday night, then JSN got there late. as well. But it does kind of open things up at the wide receiver position. A lot of people will just go to Amon-Ra, but you do have Jamar Chase up there. And then, some other guys in the upper sevens that are, playable. Then you go to tight end, and, Trey McBride is in a tier of his own. He nuked last week. No one played him. That was crazy. We did talk about it on the show. Like 2% Trey McBride. Like, if you ever see that, it doesn't matter the matchup situation. You just gotta jam it. I mean, you absolutely have to jam it. But he's a little higher owned, 8, 9, 10. Saber's showing a little bit higher than that. But a lot of people are going to want to go cheap at tight end. Same thing. It's typically been the case for a while where you're going to want to save money. The field's going to save money. And then double tight end is in the conversation. Again, a lot of people like doing that just because of what you're able to do with the rest of your lineup. You can get some really star-studded lineups when you go double tight end, because the tight ends are pretty cheap. But, another solid slate. And, excited to talk through it with you guys.
Yeah, Puka Nacua. The guy just continues to crush. And that fine for the officials' comments, $25K. I know he's not paid right now, but he's about to be very paid. And I don't think it matters anyway. But that's like such a slap on the wrist. It doesn't even matter. He's just going to be completely paid in the offseason. It'll be all good. And so he keeps going off. But before we get into it, I want to show everybody real quick, just a quick update. So I'll bring this up and then we'll get right over to Title for his thoughts. Don't need the weather as much these days, because even when people try and predict the weather, we still get 60 to 70 points in those games. So that's a different conversation. But just want to show everybody, today is a really good day. If you don't have the stone, I would recommend getting it. We talk about it. I'm going to be using it today. I think you could build the nuts right on the stone today. And I think when Nades and I go through it tomorrow, whatever wins, we're going to be able to find it right in the stone. It's pretty clean cut, I think, as far as that's concerned. But if you go to the site and click Join the Nation, we did a soft launch on this. We're not going to make a big deal about it right now, but just so you guys know, there is now a daily access. So if you just want access for today, less than $10, you can go to the site, click Join the Nation. It's right there. No Discord with that. And the by far better deal for two reasons. One, it's only $10 more and you get 5 days all access with the Discord. So $19 for 5 days, but that includes the Christmas Day stuff, the other games that are upcoming. So I would definitely say get the 5 days for $19, get into the Discord, get the stone, get Saber Sim, get it all. And then you can stick around and decide what plan you want to move to from there. But Title, did you want to talk about weather, anything else for you as the slate as a whole? And then if not, you could take us into this first game on the slate, which is the Buccaneers at the Panthers. Reading off the stone here.
Yeah, nothing to talk about weather. Two games that are yellow. Yellow's pretty irrelevant. Cold in Cleveland and New York stuff. It's December. We're used to that. Broad slate, Hoop nailed it. People want to spend down at quarterback, want to spend up at running back. Receiver, Amon-Ra are pretty much mid-tier. And then tight end, if you're not playing McBride, you're forced to go cheap. So he did a great job like always. And then the first game of the slate, you said Tampa and the Buccaneers. Yeah, Tampa both. and the Panthers kicking it off. Not a game I have too much interest to start. Like Tet, I've played him all year. He's right in the DK Metcalf range, so he's kind of a pivot if you want to go there. This team just wants to run the football, though, with Rico and Chuba, who have both been good. With them both in the mix, it's hard to play at, like, they're both pretty appropriately priced, 63, 48. On a slate where running back's so strong, opportunity cost is high. Don't really see myself getting there too much. Bucky Irving, 10%, maybe. Mike Evans, I will say, maybe I should bump Mike Evans a little bit. Man, he wasn't on the field a ton last week with his first game back, but when he was, Baker was just heaving it to him, and it was old Mike Evans. So, yeah, maybe a Mike Evans Coker mini stack, Mike Evans Tet. I think I prefer the receivers in this game. Definitely not one of my favorites, but yeah, Mike Evans, Tet, grown men, Coker, kind of a value wide receiver. We don't have too many comfortable plays. Like Xavier Worthy is the one people are going to click right in that Coker range. So I think you have two clear pivots at same positions, Tet to DK, and then Coker to Worthy if you want to go that way. So yeah, not my favorite game, but I'm fine with those one-offs or skinny stacks.
I feel like if I'm playing this game, I want to stack it. I know you got the stone and you can see it. See, everybody's like just right there, but they're not quite there. And you're like, okay, but if I'm doing it, it's things like you said. If you have like a Bryce Young, our man McMillian can't win the million without Tet McMillian. You get him in there with Jalen Coker. You could pick your poison of Bucky Irving or Bucky +1. Like that matchup for Bucky is good. I was surprised it doesn't pop as much on the stone with that O-line versus D-line difference, but I kind of like a Bryce Young, Bucky Tet. And maybe you just move on from there or something like that. If you want a little bit of a different stack on this slate, you know what you're getting into with this game. There is risk. I saw today, Hoop, the narrative street. I know we do Leverage Lane on Saturdays, but the narrative street of Baker, 4-0. versus this Carolina team since they cut him in 2022. It was December of 2022. It's that month again. He just doesn't like this team. So maybe he's an actual revenge game that you just get to keep playing against them. But I don't know. What's your thoughts on this game here, these two teams?
Yeah, I mean, very important game for both these teams. I mean, they need it. They're one of these two is going to win the division, and whoever wins this game is in the driver's seat. So big time, real life game. Fantasy, I don't think as appealing, but I will say Mike Evans, I think, is one of my favorite plays on the entire slate at 6,300, super cheap. Not a ton of ownership. Came back, looked good, and I think that just continues. Like they need him, and Baker definitely needs him. So I really like Mike Evans at the $6,300 price tag, cheapest we've seen Mike Evans in a long time. And, it's not like it's a spot where a ton of people are flocking to play him. Ownership is in check. So really like Mike Evans, struggle with the Carolina side. The only name I think I can really click is Tet, 5,800. I think he's totally fine. Wouldn't be opposed to like more, Tampa stuff if I did get some Baker, with some of these pass catchers, if I did get some Bucky, but no one's really going to be priority play for me on the Tampa side outside of Mike Evans. I think, again, I've said it a couple times, and I'll just wrap it up with this. I think Mike Evans is a really strong play today.
Good price for sure. Like you said, when you consider what these other receivers are at. And also he's right in the middle zone. He's a guy that can beat the guys above him, crush the guys below him. And he's in a range that people either want to pay up or pay. I know we talk about paying up at running back. That forces people into the Worthies, the Metcalf and down at 5,400 and below. And then if people are getting up to the guys above, it's going to be someone like a Jameson Williams or moving up to an Amon-Ra or those types of spots. So interesting thoughts there. I definitely like that call out on Mike Evans. And if Mike Evans has a big day, it usually helps Baker quite a bit. And someone mentioned you could get McMillian in there with Baker, the Millie Maker, and put it back. So I think it was our guy Kyle Go Collect. So shout out to him with putting that one together. Hoop, I'll stay with you. We got the Browns at home versus the Bills. Not much talk about this one this week. Like you said, people want to pay down at quarterback. That moves them away from talking about Josh Allen very much. James Cook on both sites is kind of in a no man's land. Guys that are just above him or just below him. Nobody wants to figure out the pass catchers. And the only real guy getting ownership in this game is Harold Fannin Jr. with the injuries they have and whatnot. What's your thoughts of the Browns at home versus the Bills?
Yeah, it's a pretty quick one. Like when Josh Allen is unowned, I'll make sure I get some in my 150. So I'll have some of him in my 150. James Cook's definitely in the player pool. Not really prioritizing any of these pass catchers. I'm sure I'll have some Kincaid. I think he's fine. And then Fannin on the other side, that's about it. I mean, it's a quick game. And I know people love talking about titles. Boy, where is it? We get these comments right out of the gate. Judkins going against putrid. Let's just stop trying to make this Judkins thing a play. Like, it's just not – it's not a play. Like, I'm sorry, it is not a play at this point. We have a lot of good running backs. We have a lot of good running backs in good spots. Browns team is dead. They're projected to score 15. It is not Judkins Day. It is definitely not Judkins Day, but it's, Josh Allen, James Cook, and then some Fannin. And, I'm trying to get the hell out of this game. It's not an exciting one.
Judkins plus 110 to score a touchdown.
Oh, God, here we go.
82
right,
and a half. No. I'm teasing. But I will say, the thing about the Bills, this is why I know why people are talking about it, because I thought about this and I've heard it and I get it. But like they're talking about the Bills against explosive running backs. We've seen guys like Sean Tucker, Trevion Henderson, those types of guys. I just think those O-lines are much better. The challenge for Judkins is getting off the hop. And it's like you got to get 3 yards before you can get all the way there. And can he do it? Sure. He's very capable, but will it happen? That's what the risk is. And I don't know, Title, if you have other thoughts, but makes it a lot more tricky to try and go after it. And I think, yes, if people are on Fannin, I get that's an argument for it as well. Like if I'm not playing Fannin, maybe I got the money and I'll go play Judkins, but there's so many running backs on this slate that you could make a case for on top of like the automatics that fit most builds and you feel good about. So what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it was 1 week when he was like 6% owned. I thought it was a good matchup. He was a pivot. I'm enough of Judkins. I'm not going to keep donating money to him. James Cook on the other side, though, looks elite. I mean, minus 130 to score, 87.5 rushing prop. We're showing 12%. If that's the case, that's got to be one of the best plays on the slate. I mean, he's just so good at football. They're supposed to score 27 points. They're big favorites, so they're going to run the football. Yeah, I mean, running back strong, there's no doubt. Bijan, Achane, Gibbs. You can spend for 2 running backs on this slate, though. I know you guys talked about it. You can really spend 3 if you really want to get ugly at other positions, but I think James Cook's an elite play. Also, if you want to just skinny stack and play chalk Fannin, that's a way to do it and get a little different. People are wondering, is Fannin like that strong of a play? Props love him. 5.5 reception prop, leads this game, 53.5 receiving yards prop. And the thing is, I mean, if they are trailing second half, garbage time counts the same. We saw it last week. He was bad all game, and he finishes like 12 or something just because they're throwing the ball a ton. He's the security blanket for Shedeur. With that being said, he's a chalky guy on a team with 15-point total. So if you want to fade that, you can always make a case there. But yeah, James Cook looks elite.
Yeah. I mean, also, if people want to do the slice and dice, you could do James Cook with Fannin, or you could do James Cook with the Bills defense. Again, if people got 3,500 on defense or on FanDuel, if they got 4,900, they also have 4K or 5K for Houston, which we know going against a team with 11-point team total. Everyone's expecting the automatic shutout there. So that's where people are moving. And so I think that's at least somewhat interesting too. Kenny made me laugh when he brought, a few things now. I've seen you guys going back, but he said this one, you mean to tell me the Browns O-line down 4 to 5 starters isn't good? Yeah, no, probably not good. So
I mean, Bills D, I should have mentioned that too. James Cook, Bills D looks good.
Yeah, it looks solid. And then like the Judkins thing is he had like one good game this year and he rushed for like 90. So he got like what? It was like 2.5 yards a carry, just fell in the box 3 times. And
he turned it over like the 3-yard line. And he got bailed out.
Yeah, the dude's dusty.
The week that he was like the best matchup play, the Slate.
It was the week after I wore that shit. I was on him at low ownership, and then he does that.
Gotta wait till Hoop says to play when you're good to go.
Chalk. Come on.
$2,200 Browns D with Myles Garrett going for the sack record. That's something you could plug in as well if you're not playing any Bills. But I like the James Cook call, so we'll stand there. I mentioned it yesterday too. I'm not in love with this play, but if you happen to be landing on Fannin at 4,500 and wanted to play Kincaid, he's $200 less in the opposite side of the matchup. It's risky, but I'm just saying I get that from a tournament perspective, not something I'm doing in my single entry or my main build or anything, but just noting it. So title, I'll stay with you. This is another interesting game. This is one of the bigger totals on the slate, Cowboys at home versus the Chargers, yet there is almost no ownership going anywhere. And I also don't really believe the Williams owner. I know like if someone were to land on something, it's probably Javonte Williams, but I also don't think it is because he's priced at 6,400 and it's just, there's too many other options at running back. So what do you think about this game? Cowboys at home versus the Chargers.
I hope you're right. If that's the case and he moonwalks back, I think Javonte's an elite play. At home, favorites. I mean, he got banged up in the first half, but he runs hard. I mean, he's getting a lot of looks. This is the game. Yeah, I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say because it's not getting much ownership like what I'm running in my stuff. It's not getting too much. But man, we're talking about a big total in a dome. Like Dak, Herbert, they can go back and forth. CD, Pickens. You got Gadsden on the other side. I think it's pretty interesting. I do prefer the Cowboys stuff. And if Javonte is going to get some ownership, if you do want to go the passing game, you can leverage it off a little bit. It feels like it's a Pickens or a Lamb day. Now, which one? I don't know. And if you pick wrong, it could get ugly. Hoop's the Dallas, the Dak guy. So I'm curious there. And I'm also wondering if you guys have any lean on a bet because I was strongly considering firing on one. I was still on tilt from yesterday, so trying to find a way to get it back. Not the right way to approach gambling your life that way, but something did stand out. I'm curious who you guys take, but no one's really playing this game outside of Javonte a little bit. And yeah, I don't really understand why. It's not simming good for anyone and all that stuff, but just I know ball approach. It feels weird that ownership's this low. So my ears are all open.
Yeah, mine too, because this is the thing. I think this is where a lot of this stems from. There's definitely worries about the Herbert injury still and how they've been protecting him a little. Our man Tyler Hicks says like Hampton should be able to run. Agreed, should be able to do that, as well as I think Javonte should be able to do stuff on the other side. And you never know, but the total has gone up quite a bit since open. It opened at 46.5. It's up to almost 51 now. So that's a note as well, but it's really hard to pinpoint and get it right. So for me, I know what I'm doing, and it's in portfolio play. It's in the MME streets, and I'm playing more of the Herbert. I'll just be playing like Herbert, McConkey, Allen. I think QJ ends up going. He's a guy that we are waiting on news. But the reason I like that side is because then you can plug in a Javonte, you can plug in a Lamb or whatever. I like Lamb better than Pickens. So it's probably more like Herbert, Ladd, Keenan, and then plug in one, or maybe Gadsden gets into that, and then one of Javonte or CD or something. But it's just, going to be in the 150 set. I don't have any mains or anything built around that. Hoop, what about you?
Yeah, it's a weird spot just because you look at it and it looks nice. I mean, the total's high. You have players at every position on both sides, and it's just not showing up anywhere. And you got to force it in, really. Like Title said, like you just don't get any of it. And I think you said it too, Tambo. It's like it's just not showing up anywhere. And I think the reason it's not showing up on the Dallas side is the prices are a little awkward. Like, Dak has a relatively high quarterback price tag. CD and George Pickens are up there where, you have Amon-Ra St. Brown as an expand. You have Jamar Chase. And then Javonte Williams, again, has a little bit of a weird price tag at 6,400. And people are just off of it. The one thing to remember with Dallas, I think they got mathematically eliminated last night, I believe. They can't get correct. In. They played to the end, and they will play to the end. They've done it every season because they typically don't make the playoffs, but they keep playing all the way to the end and looking to put up points. Like, a strong finish means a lot to this team, so I think they're going to play hard from here on out. I prefer the Dallas side just because I think if people do get to this game, I think they go to the Chargers side because it's cheaper. You got Ladd at 61, you got Quentin Johnson 49, you got Keenan Allen 48. It's pretty cheap to stack that side. I will have both, in my 150, because why not? I mean, this is a big total in a dome. Both sides have a lot of different pieces, but if I had to pick a preference, it would be the Dallas side. It would be with CeeDee Lamb. I agree with Tambo on that one, but even my guy Ferguson, you can throw in there. Javonte Williams, I'm with you. I don't believe the ownership. I just think it has to be lower with Jahmyr Gibbs up top, Bijan up top, other cheap options. I just don't think Javonte Williams ownership gets there. So this is a very good, sneaky game, and it's nice because if you are in this game, it's not like you got to do something wild in terms of stacking. The plays. Who the guys are, they're going to be owned. So anything you do here is going to be a little bit different. So really like this game. If you are building, 150 lineups, though, I notice the same thing. I got to force this in there or I get zero of it. If I don't force this in, I'm not getting any. So I'm going to be forcing it in.
Any lean on a bet? No,
I heard it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
It is Cowboys, and he doesn't know.
You think Cowboys? Yeah,
yeah.
I almost hammer Cowboys.
Why do you want to bet this game, though?
Man, I just think for some reason in my head, it feels like the Cowboys in spots like this, it's all the pressure is off Dak, and they just let it fly. And I think, I think Javonte can run, and then CD and Pitt, and Herbert's, and they just look so bad recently, the Chargers. So I don't know. It just feels like a doubt.
Say what Hoop said without saying it. I was going to say this. I was going to say, look, I am fine picking up a few haters. I don't have too many, but when I can get them, I'll try and pick them up. There's no fan base more unbearable than the Dallas Cowboys fans. Sorry to tell you. I think they even know it themselves. So don't try and come at me. It's the facts. I get it. Like Hoop said, though, the nice thing about them, Jerry Jones, the squads, everyone, they always play till the end. And you said it again about the pressure being relieved and them still showing up. And then the Cowboys fans talk and talk and talk. See, we're still pretty good. If this had to happen and if this and if that, it's that's what ends up happening. So I think the Cowboys.
Amen, Tambo. Get out of here.
Philly fans are bad too. I'll pick them all up today with you there, CG. I'm not coming at nobody. My Ravens aren't any better, so I don't care. I'm just telling you, we can't win shit. It's just the point of certain fan bases, Chiefs, Cowboys, Eagles, at least those three like to go on and on about their stuff. It's just admit if your stuff's bad. It can be bad. You can have a bad day. You can have a bad year, bad season, whatever. Just move on. Cowboys like to win these meaningless games and then start talking again about what if. Yeah. That's what ends up happening. So at least the Eagles fans are talking about a Super Bowl dub at the end of the year last year. So it's that's the difference, I guess. But I got nothing against. I got tons of Cowboys fans, friends. And I just will note it to Hoop's point. What he said was true. They will play till the end. Title was already thinking it. That's the bet. Bet the boys. I like that call by Hoop.
Yeah. I think a lot of people come to this game and be like, all right, Cowboys out of it. And Chargers are 10-4, whatever the hell their record is. They have a lot to play for, and I'm getting some points. Sign me up for that. I'm in on the Chargers. So I think that's the mindset for most people. But I think it's What is the spread here? It's a pick 'em, right?
2.5. 1 or 2. Yeah.
I don't know if this is true, but I think in certain stuff like this, maybe the coach is more willing to go for it on a 4th and 6 that he might have kicked because what's there to lose? And those are big decisions. You can get touchdowns instead of field goals.
Yeah.
I will say Gatson, definitely my favorite on the Chargers. Props are solid, 40 yards, plus 185 to score, right in that Fannin range, though. And if this game does go off, I think it gets sped up. Onesie position, Gadsden's cheap. I know it hasn't been great recently, but yeah, I'm debating like a CD Dak or something like that with Gadsden on the way back.
Yeah, I think like the chat's right too. Like the Cowboys are very entertaining. I think if you were a player and you were a Dallas Cowboy, life is good. Like you're doing well, but I'm not really hating on not winning a Super Bowl since 1996. Like it's not going to be something that we ain't us. It's like, yes. And I'm also not going to be in the NFL ever. So I'm not worried about it being a player there. I'm just telling you as someone who, watches all this stuff and listens to it all, it is what it is. Like there is certain fan bases. Everyone knows who it is and if they are themselves. So to me, that's the case. Let's move on. Let's go to another game here, title. Saints at home versus the Jets. And it is on the stone looking kind of sneaky and it looks kind of decent on paper to me. So what's your thoughts? I gotta be open ears on this one because there is some options that are picking up a little bit of steam, but also don't see much ownership as a game stack or anything like that if you want any action there. What's your thoughts on this game?
See, this is where it's just crazy. You go from the Cowboys, Chargers, where like my process isn't loving and it's not getting much ownership, to Jets, Saints, and I'm just jamming it. And it's all we play a price-based game, a salary-based game. Playing this game allows you to spend for Amon-Ra, for Gibbs, for all of that. Tyler Shuck to Juwan Johnson. Tyler Shuck to Chris Olave, I think is strong. Donnie Mitchell at 4,500 has been really good. You can check out Rio's value report. Breece Hall at 5,900. Yeah, I don't think I love Breece as much, but I don't know. I mean, if this game is competitive, he'll be on the field a good amount. No one's really going to play him. You can just play the Jets defense 2,100. Saints D is expensive on DK 3,400. Very cheap on FanDuel though. 3,500 will be popular over there when we get to Tennessee. It's very clearly people will be spending down at defense. Yeah, I'm going to play a good amount of Tyler Shuck. He has rushing upside. He's cheap. I can either play him with Juwan Johnson, Olave, or both. And then Donnie Mitchell, I think, is a strong run back. So it's really gross, it feels like, getting exposure to this game. But at least it's in a dome. It's cheap. And it allows you to get big boy guys, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra, Gibbs, all of that. I think Stars and Scrubs, probably my preferred build this today.
What about Audric Estime coming into the fold here, going with, like, because you could pair him with that Saints D, and this is a pretty good matchup on paper for both running backs, actually, Hall and Estime, but I do think, like you said, I don't know if the Olave ownership will hold up, but it seemingly does typically hold in that range. It like gets held in check, but definitely is higher than you would expect it to be right now. I think that number could be about right. So even if it's like 15 to 17, but that goes with Shuck, with Johnson, pick someone or nobody on the other side. So what about Estime with the Saints D as a way to get different?
Yeah, so much opportunity costs at running back. I will probably go more to the common build and go mid-tier or high up. I don't know like what the split's going to be with Estime Hall. If you have a good read and you think it's 70-30 or something like that, sure. Looking at props, plus 155 to score, 37.5 rushing. No, that's all I had to see. I prefer the passing game.
Give him a chance. This guy can go. That could be one run. I wish Denver would have let him run that day. I'm still thinking about when Lil Jordan Humphrey got me for the Fantasy Football World Championship season.
I also hate this. Like there's always concern with Taysom in play.
I will say though, also like with Taysom, from the visual of it, he looks slower, man. Like he does not have like that explosiveness that he had, a couple years ago where he's busting these into them. And he's not the same dude just based on the eye.
Agree.
Give us some more thoughts here. What else you got in this game? I'm going to look up right now.
I love this spot.
Plus 280 to score.
Yeah, he sucks. If it's him, like, who cares? Like, if that's what beats you, then okay, whatever. Like, doesn't matter. Same as like a backup running back getting in there, and they have no running back, so he could kind of, even if he does score a rushing touchdown. I really like the Shuck stuff today. Like, it's like the perfect spot for a guy, in his rookie season at the end of the year facing like a dead team. He's at home. Like, this is going to be a big spot for him. And I think he shows up. Like, he can make plays. He can make plays on his feet. He can get the ball to Olave, Juwan Johnson. So I'm in on it for sure. But it's going to be condensed. I mean, him with Olave, him with Juwan Johnson. and I'm fine double stacking it as well. Like, I think the Saints could put up some numbers today, and like, they're at home, they're going to want to do it. They're facing a team that there should not be much resistance on the other side. There are run backs if you want it with Mitchell and Mechie. I don't think I would really get into the Breece Hall thing, but I think it's a really good spot for the Saints here at home. I think they put up numbers. I'm definitely going to be overweight on the Saints offense today.
One thing about the Breece Hall play, the Stone likes it. The matchups there on the report card and depends on the site. I mean, it's way cheaper on DraftKings, but on FanDuel, if the Saints D is going to be as popular as they are, it could be good leverage that way as well. But one note too, I want to just bring up quick is you said the double stacks. What about the triples? Because no Vele, and we're waiting on Tipton. It was an illness, but he did miss practice on Friday. So Kevin Austin Jr., 4K on FanDuel, 3,100 on DraftKings. He came into the game and got, I think, 5 catches last week. And his prop is 23.5 receiving, and he's $3,100. I mean, it's not that crazy, I guess. It's not like I'm expecting him to do much, but he can really make some stuff work as well. If you wanted to go to Tipton title, you get a little Tipton double dipped and get in there with him in the Saints D, because he returns kicks as well. And his prop is also 23.5.
Yeah, we're not playing showdown. I need a little more than 23.5.
All right. But they're 3,100, 3,200. I don't know. That's
stars and scrubs. If Amon-Ra and Gibbs and all them get you 45, yeah, you might need something down there. I'm struggling to even double stack Shuck with Jawan and Olave. So I don't think I can do it personally. No one. So all right, what about I know everyone keeps saying Breece. We haven't projected it like 10% or something. He's gonna 7.7. It might even be like 5. Man, what? Yeah, I think I might. Breece. I think I might have to get in a little bit. If people like the Shuck stuff and all that, if the game's somewhat competitive, which you haven't really seen recently, he should play a lot more than we've seen. He's good at football. There's no doubt. He has juice in his legs. It's in a dome. He can catch passes. I mean, how much do they really want to drop back this Cook guy? I don't know. It's not fun clicking a jet right now, but I have some interest.
Yeah, speaking of Jets, let's talk about it. We'll go to the next game with you here. I had a good one yesterday. I posted out. They said the Vikings plane broke down or whatever, and they had to turn back around. I said all the Jettas are broken in Minnesota this year because Justin Jefferson not having such a great season, but cheapest price since 2020 on DraftKings at 6K title. So we got the Vikings at the Giants next up. JJ McCarthy versus Jackson Dart. And there's a lot of plays in this game. I don't know how you want to go about it or if you do it all, but man, these are very appetizing price tag. Justin Jefferson 6K seems nuts. When you see Cooper Kupp nowadays at his price tag, you're like, yeah, look at him out there. But then you see Justin Jefferson, it's like, man, that's crazy. But go ahead, take this one.
My favorite play is the Giants defense because I'm still not a believer in 9. I think he stinks. And then after that,
he doesn't get a nickname yet. Can we just call him his real name? Whatever it is. Actually, you should get rid of the JJ too. Whatever it is, like John Justin McCarthy or something. He shouldn't even be allowed to be called JJ at this point.
I always laugh, but yeah, he gets in a new mindset and calls himself 9 during the game. A new person. He's something else. But no, I don't root against anyone. He played good last week. I mean, Jefferson. He's the one that dropped the touchdown. It was completely on him. Yeah, I like Giants D. And really the only other two, Aaron Jones and Justin Jefferson. Aaron Jones, 5,200. Yeah, Mason, they are splitting, but he catches passes. And if he gets in the box once, you're definitely going to be happy you play him. So I'm fine with Aaron Jones. Yeah, I'm fine with Jefferson. I mean, what are we showing? Like 10-ish%. I will be playing probably about 10% because that price tag looks great. But I mean, how much does he go out here and get like 25 plus? It feels really hard to see it just because McCarthy, I mean, he stinks at the end of the day, it feels like. So yeah, Giants D, Aaron Jones, Jefferson, that's it. Pretty much just like one. Like if I play Giants D, I'll play no Vikings. If I play Aaron Jones, I won't play Jefferson, stuff like that. But I don't like this game.
They jacked the props up on Jones, by the way. He's at plus 180 now to score a touchdown. Remember on Thursday we were talking about this, and I was trying to get my season-long stuff in with Hoopster over there. We were looking at the Jones stuff. He's up to plus 180 now, and he's down to, I think, 70. I think it's only like 70 yards all-purpose, and he was something higher the other day. I think the O-line issues they have are maybe part of it, but Jefferson is the favorite to score the touchdown, and he's not. Again, this is one of those games, no favorite to score a touchdown. I see him at plus 115 as the spot. Now, Man, 6K hoop. What are you thinking here? This is it's more appetizing, I guess, on DraftKings than FanDuel for sure, but they have him at 8,400 on FanDuel. This is a bit of a crazy situation for Justin Jefferson. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I'm definitely playing him on DK at the 6K price tag, especially if you're building a lot of teams. Like I will have some, like he's showing up, we have it around 10%. That's probably pretty, I'm not going to go crazy with it, but he's definitely in the player pool. Aaron Jones is in there as well. The spot I can't figure out though is like, are you guys in on Jackson Dart at all, or just like out on it? Like that's the one guy, like I haven't fully decided what I'm doing on the slate.
They're running as much with them.
Yeah, it seems like you guys are out. Like it's got to come through the air and don't want to really rely on that. So I'm good being out. I just was curious what you guys thought.
It's not only like you got to pick who it is with them. Is it Slayton? Is it Wandale? Is it Theo? Like I wish it was more condensed. It was easier when Slayton was out, but the lack of design runs, like obviously because he's taken so many hits, like that's how he fully gets there. So I love watching him play, the ultimate competitor. But
he did run 9 times last week.
I know. I think watching the game, I don't have the exact numbers in front, but I think there were more scrambles than design runs, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. And then he went in his interview after and said he's not going to change anything. He's like, that's how I'm going to do it. Cause it looks like he's going to get to it pretty hard at one point here, the way he does it, but it's the risk you take. I'm going to, if I'm going this game, it reminds me of the Tampa Bay Carolina spot hoop where I'm going to be stacking it. If you want to go McCarthy, Jefferson, Addison, Robinson, and then fill in the running backs, you get a more balanced build. That would be different. And at least if this ends up being a spot, it's so hard to get this one right. But if you get it, it's the certainty of the stacks like Dart, Robinson, Theo, run it back with Jefferson. Like you can do that and get away with it that way if that's the stack you need. But I think there's much better spots on the slate than this one. So I'll keep it moving. And I'll start with this one because I'm excited about this one for sure. You can't win the Millie Maker and cut off the mustache without using the man, the myth, the legend with the mustache, Minshew Mania. Kansas City at the Titans. You got Minshew, you got Worthy, you got Hollywood, you got Kelsey. You don't need anybody from Tennessee, but if you want to, you could run it back with somebody. But man, this is a interesting spot here. I think this is going to be kind of like the Cowboys stuff that we see. I do think they're just going to let Minshew fly, and that can go one of two ways. But if it goes the good way, I'm going to be very excited today because that's what I'm interested in this game. Hoop, what are you doing with the Chiefs at the Titans?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in, not as excited as you are about it. I will say that to start, but I am in on it a little bit just from the pricing standpoint where it's very, very cheap. You get a cheap quarterback in Minshew who has had success in this league. You know, we talk about it. There's a difference in these backup quarterbacks that have played and have had success and some of these just shitheads that come in that are just terrible. Minshew has proven success. The stacks are cheap. You have injury, obviously, with Rashee Rice. So everything is very, very cheap. So you're going to be able to stack this up and get it for cheap. Worthy, I think Kelsey. I believe Kelsey said he's playing all the way through. I believe it. I think there's probably a pretty good chance he retires at the end of the year. So I'm fine with him as well. Some Hollywood Brown, I think, is fine. It's very cheap. You're going to be able to load up outside of this one. So that is to me, the best argument for playing it. And you have, high upside guys like Xavier Worthy can take 170 to the house. I think Hollywood Brown can make big plays still. So you are getting some big play stuff in on it. Not as excited as you about it, but I'm in on it and probably overweight. The problem is I just don't want to play any Titans still. No run backs for me. I'll join you in the Chiefs stuff for sure.
Yeah, the best argument for it is you're going to need it at the end of the day. So it's that's the key. If you do, I'm obviously kidding, but I think it's exciting. And I have a little bias too, Title, because I never told the full story on all the shows. But this one here, the second place at King of the Beach, that was Minshew in Philly that week. And I should have just paired his ass up with Goddard. That's what got me. The Minshew Goddard stack. Only 8 of us of the 50 played Minshew that week. He was min price. You could stack anybody you wanted into the lineup in a 50-man live final. Once you get down in King of the Beach, that's the way it worked. And he almost got me to the house. So I'm hoping today he finishes the job. He's got the mustache. It's for the Millie Maker. Millie making Minshew just sounds so good. I would be so pumped if this happened. Also in Smashville, Tennessee, you get a little Travis Kelsey action there going up against the Titans. I just think there's huge opportunity here. And you got love for some of these Chiefs, Worthy, guys like that. So what do you think? I know that's not a Worthy shirt you got on. Is that a Detroit Red Wings? Yeah. Thought I saw that.
Little Detroit Red Wings, some
My
hockey.
Detroit boys, man. Check them out. Down over. Yeah, this one. How do you do this? Woo! Yeah, there's the Detroit boys today. Lions and Red Wings. Let's go.
Oh yeah. Pavel Datsyuk, one of my favorites. I bet Red Wings fan, grew up playing
Stevie
hockey.
Y back in the day, man.
And you probably know more about the Wings than I do.
Iserman, yeah. I went to Little Caesars Arena and watched them play. They're actually decent now. When I watched a couple years back, they were terrible. But yeah, shout out to all the hockey fans out there. So my question to you, Tambo, is do you believe this ownership? Like, I'm worried that the 4% could be 7, or Worthy's 11%, 12 could be like 18. What are your thoughts on that? Because I think that's a big deciding factor.
That sounds like 11% or 12% of the field that got a chance to win all the money on this slate. So I think it's going to be what you said, though, being serious now. I do think it's going to pick up steam. People aren't getting to it until we're starting. It's not this show. They ain't going to move the needle. I think more. I think the sharpest players are recognizing this and going to pick up on it as the day goes on, but that's fine. It's again, only so many people can have it. You got to think about how you go about it. There's a million ways to do it because it makes it so you can afford anything. And honestly, it might just be Minshew Kelsey that you need and no run back and just start to fill out some of these secondary stacks and things within it. There's so many ways it could go. It also could go very bad. And the Titans could just tee off pure luck. Like the guy could one thing about him is there's no need to hold him back or figure out let's just hand the ball off and see what happens. It's just throw the ball, and whatever happens. That can go bad, but I want the opportunity. So I'm going to take it and just risk it regardless of ownership.
Yeah. And this is why I play multiple teams to get a portfolio. I think just playing Tennessee defense is very elite on both sides. 2,500 and 3K stone minimum on FanDuel. Chiefs are beat up. Someone mentioned, look at the injury report. Yeah, I mean, I think they could absolutely, at home, they could tee off on Gardner Minshew. Now, if they don't, you have really cheap Minshew to Worthy or to Hollywood or to Kelsey. You can single stack, double stack. If Minshew gets 17 and you got the receiver or tight end that catches a touchdown, you can play whatever you want around it. So, yeah, I'm going to be playing some of the Minshew stuff. I'm not in love with it. But I do like Titans defense quite a bit. And if you do think Chiefs stuff gets steam like I do, you get some leverage that way. And again, a very cheap defense on both sides. So, and then, yeah, people are talking Pollard. Man, he's looking a little better as of late. He has some juice left, but again, a lot of opportunity cost at running back. I don't love it as much. Maybe some Titans, Pollard stuff. I'm going to play Chiefs. I don't love it as much, though. I think Titans defense is elite, though.
Man, Sergei Fedorov, God, this guy was a killer, man. Absolutely insane. Bringing these names up. Other team, at the same timeline, Pavel Bure for the Vancouver Canucks, back in the day. I was a bigger hockey fan back in the day than I am now, but it's definitely crazy thinking about some of those names. One thing you said there that actually, the way my brain works anyway, I'm thinking about it now, is I think a lot of the Chiefs lineups stacks could also land on, say, the Bengals D. Because if they're not getting to Achane or they're not getting to Waller or whatever like that, they could. And now at 2,500, the same price is the Titans going against Kansas City if those pieces pick up steam. And you could actually use a similar setup with Quinn Ewers and Waller, or if you wanted to put Achane in there or something like that, then you'd be able to have the Tennessee defense because you wouldn't be using Cincy against your Dolphins. So flipping the build that sort of way would be interesting as well. I also will note, if you did want to run back, I liked Pollard last week. Yeah, I'll talk about that in a second. Van Jefferson,
best game ever created, man. I wasn't on that in a second. On Saga, just so good.
I wasn't even alive.
What is the receiving prop? I was trying to look it up. There was some good coach speak on Van Jefferson and they tried to hit him. If you watch the game, you had the Ferguson call the other night, and he had 2 touchdowns. He should have, but he only got one of them counted. But my point being, if you watch this stuff, sometimes you see it. It was very close. And then after the game, the coach said he's been putting it in. I know he's kind of been slightly injured this week, but if you wanted to run back for cheap, 3,100, Van Jefferson is interesting. You got to know about this, Hoop. That's why I was going to bring that one up. It's
so good.
A little bit of intermission here for a second. The best play ever. It was broken. The game was broke. It might have been 94 or 96, but you go down the sideline, you come up the hash marks, come back out in front of the net and roof it top left corner. It's like whoever got that side twice in the game wins automatically. Anyone who knows this game has to know what I'm talking about here. But it was the cheat code for that game. Whoever got 2 sides going up, where you just go up the side, do the little loop and roof it, you could score 100 goals in the game. The wraparound cheat code. Yeah. It was a thing.
Maybe that's why I was never good at video games, because I didn't know that, and I played that game a lot.
Let's say, Tambo, you remind me of myself. I played some competitive Madden years and years ago. It got me in the shot like T. Davis or some DFS players that play that. But yeah, I always was on YouTube looking up like cheat plays.
Yeah,
I was playing the Ultimate Team for
that's what it is, man. Title. I wish I was as solid as you are at your age. That's why we love you so much, and you just crush everything you do. But like, yeah, always looking for an edge. Not cheating, just looking for an angle. Is there an angle of attack? And if I got it, I'm going to go for it. And you extract it better than most, much better than I did at that age. I wasn't fully prepared and ready for it. So it's awesome just to watch your journey.
You're still young.
I love it. Yeah, it's definitely keeps me young, and being around guys like you and others that do the same. It's just fun. I can't be involved in all that I said today. Like, I know you had last night's sweat. I'm sweating. I don't got a sweat. So what's Title got? And like you mentioned today, like a best ball sweat coming up. Many out there sweating their best ball teams. It's like, I don't got that, but I definitely get the FOMO for it. And some of these price changes, prize pools and price adjustments that you can get yourself into, and the way you can win so big, it's a lot of fun down the stretch. If you have true friends that you go to work with every day or hang out with, and you can actually root for them, there's nothing more fun than that, and seeing them and cheering them on. So I love it, man. It's awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Of course. Yeah. Let's keep it moving, Hoop. We've got, I mentioned that little tidbit there. It was like, yeah, the Bengals D is probably a little bit more popular as one of the cheaper Ds. I just don't think it's the chalk or anything, because there is still people that are going to play some Waller, some Achane, whatever. But I think we kind of see Jamar Chase at a lower ownership than we usually see him, just the product of the slate, right? What's your thoughts on this Bengals Dolphins game?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Bengals side, and they're projected to score a lot of points today. And like Joe Burrow, not much ownership. I mean, at all, coming off the stinker last week. We're showing 4%. Saber has it at 3%. So it's going to be, sub 5. And he's got both his weapons, main weapons, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. I've liked what I've seen from Gesicki. I think Chase Brown still, like, they have their whole offense here in a good spot, facing a team that's given up for the season. I think the Bengals offense is in a really good spot today. Jamar Chase is going to get some ownership for sure, but it's like, with Joe Burrow stacks, you can get creative, you can double it, you can do whatever you need to do. T. Higgins, was not full, questionable kind of to play. Like, he's got to be a really good option today. Yeah, very low ownership. Actually, I'm going to bump my exposure right now as we're kind of talking through this. I think Higgins has to be a very solid play. With most people, just probably, if they're going to play this spot, it's going to be Burrow to Chase. But, you can play Joe Burrow with Chase Brown. You can play him with Higgins, like I talked about. You can play him with Gesicki. Issue here, though, is like the run back. But I will say, I mean, still a pretty solid team total for Miami here, going to this, Quinn Ewers guy. Still projected to score like 22-ish real life points. So, they're projected to have some offensive success as well, which, leads me to like the Bengals side even more. You can play, I think Waller's probably playable. I think Waddle's probably playable. Achane, might be a little bit difficult just because he's priced up there with Gibbs and Bijan, who I prefer. But the Bengals side, to me, I think stands out as a really good play. Not much ownership on anyone outside of Jamar Chase.
Someone give me the dictionary pronunciation of the last name of Quinn. I think someone was trying to do it here. Is it Ewers?
Ewers.
Yeah, like Ewing, right? That's how I thought of it. I was like Patrick Ewing, EW, so it's like that. But I was just curious. All right, okay. So
all these guys gotta have the wild names. Like, just give me like a Smith or a Johnson or a Brown or someone like that. Like, why is all these guys coming up? It's just the
like
last
name.
Yeah, just keep it simple. Like something that's easy to pronounce. Like, this stuff's getting wild.
You're acting like these people are choosing their last names. I mean, it goes back generations.
Quinn Ewer, as Marion said, like has been was it Ewer? He's not a good guy anymore. But I don't know. This could be an interesting spot. Somebody said, playing the Bengals D might be a bit risky as well. But if you're not in there on that, I think the Achane spot is the most interesting. I hear a lot of people talking about it, thinking that it would, the ownership would come up some, but just the facts of having Gibbs and the way Bijan projects is in the next game, but just noting the way he projects, it's going to make it so that more people land there, and you can easily play Bijan and Gibbs together. So how do you get to the Achane spot? Maybe some move to Waller instead. I don't think many go to Waddle, and he's not really popping anyway, but the fact that you could play like Ewers with Waller and Chase and then just fill it out. I mean, you could also do that. So there's a lot of different ways you could do it. So what's your thoughts? Anything further on this one, Title? And if not, we can go to the next game while Hoop takes a quick bathroom break.
Yeah, this is one again that similar to the Dallas game, and I really wasn't getting much, just my normal process. But I don't do this often, but I'm bumping this game. Man, the Burrow stuff. It's been really bad from like all these interviews and stuff. Last week was terrible. It just feels like a perfect bounce back spot. Implied for 27 points against the Dolphins. Both these teams are dead. Burrow has the second highest pass attempt prop on the slate, right behind Jacoby Brissett, which should surprise no one. Jamar Chase has the highest receiving yards prop, even more than Amon-Ra, the highest reception prop. And I think people are going to want to play Amon-Ra if they do choose. And Achane, people are going to rather play Gibbs. People are going to rather play Bijan. I think Waller's interesting as well. Yeah, I'm manually bumping this game. I think Burrow throws for over 300. I think Chase has a great game. I think Achane's a good run back. I think Waller is a solid run back. I don't think this game's getting too much ownership. And for the highest receiving prop and reception prop in Chase, the second highest pass attempt prop. Achane's a beast, as we know. I'm just looking at the stone. It looks pretty good. Bengals defense has been terrible. 11% for Achane, 16 for Chase, which I'm not even sure I believe, 4 for Burrow. I'm manually bumping this game.
Yeah, I was trying to look at it now just to see what you can get to. It's more the Burrow side. I mean, I'm more on the your side for sure because it's so cheap, and I can just, like I said, go him, Waller, and Chase and call it a day. But to Hoop's point, now you got me thinking, and like having these Bengals full strength, there's definitely an opportunity there because they're scheduled to score points. It's a good spot to do it. Weather, fine, like all these different factors could just throw all over them, and that would be something you could see happening this week very easily. And it doesn't seem like people are on this spot. So, Hoop, do you want to add anything else there? If not, you could take us to the Cardinals at home versus the Falcons. We talked about Bijan and then obviously Brissett, Trey McBride, all those guys there, but give us your thoughts.
Yeah, man, I was just looking through the Bengals, Miami stuff on my initial teams. I really didn't have much at all. I'm with you guys. I'm gonna bump that up a little bit. I mean, it is pretty rare where the backup comes in and the team's still projected to have like offensive success. Like I was kind of, without looking at this, assuming like the Dolphins team total will be like 16 or 17 or something. I mean, it's basically an additional touchdown on top of what I
Bengals defense is. Look at this stone. These dudes are terrible.
Yeah, it's very bad. So I think this game is definitely more appealing than
one thing I want to add though, now that you said that, because I agree, but I guess I see where it's coming from, right? If you go put it together, the Burrow side's extremely hard to build. If you put Burrow, Jamar Chase, Achane, Waller, Higgins, you don't have to put them all. I don't know how you do it. I'm just saying once you go Burrow, Chase, Achane, you kind of have no money. Like you're not getting to that Detroit-Pittsburgh game anymore. And that's where you're making a decision on this slate. So you would definitely have to think about that as a thought process piece. Like maybe it has to be no Achane still.
And go Waller.
And
that might be my favorite.
And you can do it that way.
We have to probably exclude Achane, but I think our guy Nades might have nailed it because the backup can throw the ball better than the starter. That's probably why. Probably a pretty easy answer to the question. Falcons Cardinals is another game. I mean, big total sitting right around 49 pieces on both sides. Falcons getting Drake London back, and this has just been like the Coors Field of the NFL setup here. Like when teams are facing the Cardinals, it's just a huge boost. And, Falcons are kind of seeing that today. Big total for them. Kyle Pitts coming off the monster game. Bijan has a big price tag, but looks good. And Kirk Cousins, shit on him for sure, but he's looked a little bit better. I think, against a good defense, he's definitely drawing dead, but good spot for the Falcons offense, getting Drake London back. Bijan, and then Kyle Pitts coming off the big game. On the Cardinal side, sounds like Michael Carter is going to be like the main guy. He's cheap. Marvin Harrison coming back, but it sounds like in a limited capacity, but that is definitely enough to keep things in check for Michael Wilson, who now has it's definitely his biggest price tag of the season. And then the Trey McBride stuff I think is still applicable this week. It's not going to be as low. The ownership last week was like 2 or 3%. He's probably 7-8 range, but he can just nuke these slates. So I want to be overweight on Trey McBride, but it's a good game. A lot of different ways to play it. Marvin Harrison, I guess, is the big question. Like, is there a chance he plays more than people think? Because, I mean, wide receiver 1 for the Cardinals has been the absolute nuts for like 3 weeks. So, that's one thing to definitely consider, but good game overall here.
Yeah, it's also the start of the late swap conversation too, Title, just because if you're on Detroit-Pittsburgh stuff for good reason, like many will be, and we'll talk about that when we get there shortly. I'm going to save that for the last game just because we've got 4 games and there's one more coming up anyway, and then we'll go to the last one, then back to it. But just noting this is probably the best late swap spot, I think, right? If you go to the Brissett stuff and make your choice on Harrison, Wilson, McBride, etc., whatever you can fit. But I think the other side too, I definitely don't like Cousins until late swaps a necessity, because then it would have to be like a London, Mooney, Pitts type of thing with McBride or whatever like that. That's where at least you could hope to get completely different if you need to make up ground. But what's your thoughts on the Falcons at the Cardinals?
Yeah, I definitely like the game. Brissett leads the slate in passing attempts. They continue to do it. If Michael Carter's your starting running back, he's a small guy, he's a pass catching guy. They're going to throw the ball a ton. I want to play Michael Wilson. The dude is Randy Moss. He is so good, but with Marvin Harrison back, Trey McBride, the price is up there. I'm not sure how much I can get. Trey McBride definitely is my favorite pairing with him. I like Michael Carter a lot. Him and Bijan are my favorite plays in this game for sure. I think Pitts is fine. McBride's fine. It's going to be hard for me to get to Kirk Cousins outside of late swap stuff. Drake London, 7K. That's a big price tag, so I don't like him as much. I really, really like the running backs, though. Michael Carter and Bijan. And then I'll throw it back to you on, I think Brissett's the chalkiest quarterback. Is it going to be the 12% we're seeing? Is it going to be 16? What do you think on his ownership?
It looks like it's going to be I think we're about right on that one. It's, part of the spread out conversation is but 90%ish or, 85 aren't playing them. Sure. But it's when they're playing and what are they going to? And that's kind of the thought. I also think it's what makes Bijan work. I think it's just one of those spots where you'd have to go again, this gets tricky when you do this, but if you have Brissett and you're picking McBride and putting Bijan, you're also cutting off some angles on the slate when you do that. So that's the only thing that would make me think there's a potential it could stay a little bit in check there with his ownership just based off of that. Oh, we got someone's in the room.
I do think back to the original point. I do like stars and scrubs though. It is tough doing that, but there's we talked about some Adonai Mitchell. I know Carter's cheap. Some Powell. I do think we're going to see some big scores for some guys up top. If Trey McBride does what he did last week, you will need it. So when I do go starting scrubs, just leaning into 2 stars on different sides of one game and hoping that shoots out is something I'm willing to do. So yeah, McBride, Bijan, and Brissett's expensive, but it is fine. I'm willing to do it. And then it will lead to a lot of 2 tight end builds, but I'm fine with that. Tight ends stay being underpriced.
Yeah, one thing I was just thinking about too was the errors. So if you go Bijan McBride hoop as a secondary stack, that would be interesting as well, just because you'll get all the running on the ground from the Falcons and then don't have to worry about who the passes go to, because it just seems again, you talked about earlier, there's no Puka, there's no JSN, and there's no CMC. And those are usually the 3 that people are deciding between. And this is the guy that has the output that they have, the ceiling they have, and he's priced at the maximum price almost. I think 8K was the most they got him up to. They just won't bump the tight end price any higher for the good reasons of the pricing and keeping it whatever. But what do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still kind of distracted. We allowed Title to compare Michael Wilson to Randy Moss. I'm struggling to get back on track.
Yeah, watch the tape. That dude he was dusty and Stingley. Everyone's worried about Stingley. That dude had Stingley on skates.
Stop. Please.
We got that one. Remember that? That was the one last week. I will say that. I don't know about the Moss thing, but I will say those that were in the chat chirping about Stingley's going to shut this guy.
Michael Wilson's a grown-ass man. Don't be hating on Stingley.
You've been so good.
Hating on Wilson.
Are very good, and I respect you.
Like Randy Watson. Yeah. It's just a made-up name.
I don't know how we can recover from that one. I'm sure you'll have something better as the show goes on to overshadow that.
Ain't nobody's got Michael Wilson.
Somebody said you got Wilson.
Yeah, you got Wilson is right.
The kids on the playground are gonna switch it now. Instead of getting Moss, if they got Wilson.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh man, this is good shit.
What was the question?
I forget now. Who's Randy Watson? That was the question. Who's Randy Watson? All right. What
That
were
is
we
pretty
talking
impressive, though. You got to do something very special for like 10-year-old boys to be out on recess and say your ass got mossed. Like you have to be something special.
And
That's
Kobe
not
when you shoot
and
paper in a
Kobe
garbage.
too. Yeah, and I can tell you one thing: that term is never switching over to you got Wilson.
No, he said, you know what he just said? Basically, he said Kobe is getting turned into Brunson. We got Jalen Brunson's going to be the guy that takes over now for Kobe because he's hitting game winners. Or Bane hit the game winner the other night. You know, this is good. People are going to switch it up now these days.
That is it is funny though. Yeah, it's like Kobe and Moss. You got Moss and you got Kobe when they shoot the ball, and like a lot of these kids that probably have no idea who either of those guys are, which is pretty impressive. But I don't know. We got distracted, but good game though for sure. Overall, a lot of different ways to play it.
Did you know? Someone said in the chat. This is actually crazy. I just looked it up now. Did you know that Bijan has hit 30 points plus more than Gibbs has this season?
Yeah, I mean Gibbs just had nuke weeks. He had like the 50, what was it, like the
58, 41, and 39. That's the difference maker. So
he's been up and down, really. He's had a lot of busts for sure.
Which I would say this is a good point. Like it's like maybe Bijan's not hitting the 50s and the 40 pluses, but the 30s have been there, and you can play both. So that makes sense. No way. I just remembered that. There's no way. Okay, keep going. What's the next game? We're off the rails here. Broncos at home versus the Jags. And that's the best ever, man. I don't know if you guys know movies. I know Title doesn't, but this guy, Randy Watson, this guy is from Coming to America, where Eddie Murphy plays like every dude in the movie, including the white barber. Like he literally plays every.
Oh, that's his name, man. I think I've seen a little bit of that. Yeah.
And someone said, I thought that sounded familiar. This movie's absolutely hilarious, by the way, if you haven't watched it. And that's a good one. Go ahead, Title. I'll let you say it with you. The Broncos at home versus the Jags. Keep it rolling.
Yeah, I mean, a good real-life football game. Jags have been hot, and the Broncos have won in 10 straight or something insane. My two favorite plays are just the receivers. 5,700 Sutton, 5,500 Jacoby Myers. Wide receiver one on both sides. I don't love pairing them with their quarterbacks. 6,100 Knicks, 5,900 Lawrence. Yes, they've been great, but big step up. Denver's defense is elite. I don't like playing quarterbacks going into mile high very often, but yeah, give me those two as one-offs. RJ Harvey, 6,200s, I think is interesting. Outside of that, Evan Ingram, 2,900. Like we're talking stars and scrubs builds. Again, if I am playing the A-Chan, Burrow, Chase, or Trey McBride, Bijan, stuff like that, you're probably playing two tight ends, and 2,900 is really, really cheap. So mainly Sutton, Myers, some Harvey, some Ingram, and that's about it.
All right, this is Randy Watson, for those that don't know. And they said that maybe he's Randy Watson. Title said it's Randy Moss for Michael Wilson, but this is what they were talking about. Sexual chocolate from this movie. So good call out there from everybody that
That's who people are saying Michael Wilson is that guy?
They said he might as well be that guy before he's
that dude must
Randy
be a stud.
When you compare him to Randy Moss.
That dude must be a stud.
Argument. When you compare him to Moss.
Yeah, that boy good. That boy must be good. You're right, Benny. He must be good because, Michael Wilson's the man.
That's my girl Nika, man. She knows. She's seen that movie, and that's what they say. That boy good. They're in the church pews talking about him, and it's absolutely incredible. One of the best movies if you guys haven't seen it. Just so funny. Yeah, he's got his own brand, Soul Glow, and you can buy the gels and the lotions and stuff. Yeah, this is a classic movie. You got to go back and check it out. Samuel L. breaking into the McDonald's and shutting it down with the gun in hand. It's incredible. Chad is off the hook. This show's off the rails. You got it. Broncos at home versus the Jags. Got to hear it.
Yeah, nothing more to really add. I think it's Title broke it down well, way better than his Michael Wilson takes. It is tough to play quarterbacks coming into mile high. It's a very difficult spot. Jaguars have had a great season. I mean, their offense has been rolling, but this is a tough one. Favorite plays, definitely, Jacoby Myers, if doing anything. Brian Thomas, I think, is fine for cheap. And I guess, ETN, people are saying with Tootin out, like 7K, it's tough. He's got to do a lot in a pretty difficult matchup. So I don't love him. Fine with like Sutton. I probably will have some Bo Nix in my 150, fair price tag, has some rushing upside. Maybe some RJ Harvey, but overall, I'll be light on this game for sure.
Yeah, the Bo Nix side more enticing to me because I like Cortland Sutton. I actually like Pat Bryant as well. Sneaky option there at 3,700. Ingram, people are talking about the revenge game, but probably put a couple guys with Bo Nix. Hope he does a little bit with his legs. Hasn't been, speaking to like ceiling options and stuff like that, hasn't seemed like that much this season, but he's had some big ones out there a few times. So at least, and the way Trevor Lawrence has been pushing it, it's just Trevor Lawrence has been playing bad teams. The Broncos, not a bad team. So I'm not sure it's going to go the same way as we would expect. I'm not sure how all of that's going to look. When you look at the stone, you look at everything else that goes with it. It's not something I'm super high on, but if I was doing it, when I'm doing it, it's going to be with like Bo Nix, Sutton, Bryant, run it back with Jacoby or something like that and hope that he just got paid and he actually plays for it this week and shows something. But he got a contract people were talking a lot about, and I don't know, some people put up a lot worse contracts, in my opinion. The guys look pretty good since he moved over. I thought he was even fine on the Raiders. So interesting the way it goes, but them's the breaks in the NFL and in these big leagues with all the money out there to be made. So we'll skip the big game title just because there is a Texans Raiders game that might be quick, but I think it's the lowest team total we've seen all season. The Texans D is getting love. I don't think you're going to see as much on like Stroud, Nico, and, Schultz, just because, maybe people don't want to run it back, or maybe they don't, think about Brock Bowers doing anything, or they're already playing Houston D. But what's your take on this game?
Yeah, I will say the chat loves that movie. I've never heard of it. Obviously, no surprise, but you got a lot of different quotes piling in, so I'm enjoying looking at it.
It's a classic, man. It's really good, and it will warm you up. Like, there's nothing bad. You just are gonna laugh. You're gonna have a good time watching the movie. It's got a good little storyline. It's a fun movie.
See, this is if I was to talk me into a movie, you have to have that first. We will never see movies like those again because the movies nowadays are a definition of cheek. So maybe one day I'll get around to it. But no, I like, people aren't going to play CJ, Nico, Schultz, and all that. They're implied for 27 points at home. Like, the points got to come somewhere. Nick Chubb being back definitely takes like the Woody Marks Chubb stuff. I don't even want to mess with it. Woody's probably going to be on the ground 3 times and then keep coming back and then maybe not. Give me Stroud to Nico. Give me Stroud to Schultz. Give me Texans defense. I think all of them are very elite. Not very often you see 12.5 point total for the Raiders. So when I do play Stroud and Nico and whatever, I do not need any Raider. There's no chance I'm clicking that name or any of those names.
We'll talk about this in a little bit. Can't triple stamp a double stamp, a little Dumb and Dumber in there. Love that. That's a classic as well. But
that's a good one.
We'll talk about that. I thought this was a good point from Aaron on the Broncos-Jags game. I'm assuming by when the comment came up and just the facts, it probably is a really good game, but is it going to be, could be a really good game, I should say, but is it going to be good for DFS? I don't know. The barbershop scene, they're talking about that movie. Eddie Murphy plays every single barber. They record like he's got different masks. So this is back when he was doing like Nutty Professor and dressing up a million different ways. He's just an incredible actor. So that was pretty sweet. And Brittany says, yeah, it's technically a Christmas movie, like how Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and there's other ones like that. So yeah, good call out there. If you want to watch a holiday movie, you could call that. So Hoop, I'll go to you on this one. Texans at the Raiders, and then we'll get to the big boy game at the end. But just noting it, one piece of information, and came out overnight, midnight Eastern, something like that, where Woody Marks plans to play. They're still going to wait right up until game time, but it should be good to go. The chat's talking about Jawar Jordan. What's that guy last night title to put you down? Was J-Day Walker or J-Day Walker?
I deserve that too, because shout out Deep Fat. He like 4 hours before the game, he asked about him, and I had the gif like, who? And then of course that dude buries me for 35K. I mean, unbelievable. So I walked myself into that one.
Yeah.
I still don't even know the dude's name. Zero clue. All I know is
Walker, man. He was a hero till he wasn't, because then it got taken away the other side. But yeah,
all I know is Nixon. How is the dude that wide open? You have a free rusher on 4th and 4, and the dude's wide open. Like, what are the Packers doing?
Yeah, DJ Moore one-upped him, but it was still really good for him. And yeah, so noting that, the chat was on you a little bit because you said you hit Buddy back. You said tag me when he's optimal, and I don't even think he was, but
he wasn't. But still, of course. I deserve that for sure.
Yeah, Bourne got me too. Yeah, Arsenio Hall is another great actor. He's the partner in crime there in the movie, and he played some of the characters too. But it's basically just the point. The guy talking about you won't see a movie like that nowadays because of the takes and what they're like how it goes. That's fine, but you never see a movie where people are playing like 6 characters in the movie and doing something different. But it's just cool to see. It was a really cool setup of the movie. But let's go Hoop. Anything else on this one, or anything that we missed on the Raiders at the Texans?
No. I think they'll probably use all these running backs, the Texans, which makes it pretty difficult. That Jawar Jordan looked pretty good, had some big runs last week. Like, assuming they're all active, I think they're all going to get some play, which makes it tough for DFS. I mean, anytime you see a team favored by this much, you do want to kind of look to the running backs, but I don't think you can here. Stroud, Collins, Schultz, fine, and then no Raiders. I mean, they're projected to score like 12. That might be the lowest I've seen, 12 real life points. Just absolutely insane. Now they're talking about Carroll getting fired at the end of the year. So it's a full on disaster there. Really good spot for Texans defense. Yeah, that's it.
What about your boy Schultz though? Like as a one-off?
I like playing him. Yeah, I'll play him with Stroud, play him as a one-off. He's in that mix of cheap tight ends. I think he's totally fine.
Yeah, I think he's the same as $200 less or $300 less than Fannin in that range. So yeah, I don't know. Interesting from that perspective.
He's kind of the wide receiver too. I mean, we always talk about it. The wide receiver too doesn't need to be a wide receiver. Like, he's the second option for pass plays, it seems like.
Yeah, I like that call. I guess if you were going to do it and you thought somehow it stayed competitive, it would be like Stroud, Collins, Brock. And again, you spend a lot of money on spots that you may or may not need to, may or may not work out for you unless it does. So that's how you got to think of it when you're building those lineups. All right. Title, I'm going to start with you on this one. We'll go to the last and then let Hoop kind of put all the thoughts together from everything throughout the week. But Steelers at the Lions is the game a lot of people are at least starting their lineups with and then working from there. But obviously with late swap and depending on what happens in the morning, it may not be the place you want to stay. We talked through some of that stuff earlier, but your thoughts just as a whole here with the Steelers at the Lions and what you're thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to avoid this game. Big total, Lions implied for 30 in a dome. Again, late swap is big. If you need to swap off, this is where the chalk is. But I mean, Goff, we're still showing like 9%. You can go Goff, Amon-Ra, Gibbs, J-Mo. You can pick two of the three. Don't care who it is. You can obviously play Goff with Jahmyr Gibbs. That's one way to get a little different. Those are the only guys that I'm targeting on that side, though. Jameson, Amon-Ra, Gibbs. Steelers stuff, DK looks very strong. Ownership's going to come, though, at 5,400. Kenneth Gainwell is the one where, man, like, what's the split between Warren and Gainwell? I don't really know. But if they are down, Gainwell's clearly the pass-catching back. The touchdown prop's great at plus 125. He's cheap. We need cheap option, 5,100. That's my favorite way, I think. Yes, DK is going to be popular. If you're playing Amon-Ra or with Gibbs or whatever, and you play DK, everyone's going to do that. Gainwell is a way that I'm going to get different in this game. He has a lot of different ways to get there. The rotating backs. Rodgers loves to check it down, as we saw. I think it was last Thursday when they played. I don't know. I'll let Hoop and stuff. You guys talk about Darnell Washington and Freiermuth. I'm not sure this is the slate for me to play them at tight end, but it's really cheap. 2,600 is Darnell Washington. I don't really have hot takes in this game. I guess my one hot take, Kenneth Gainwell, and I guess we're showing 15%. That's not even a hot take. So, man, at ownership, I'm going to be playing it, but I guess it's hard to say I'm in love with it with how much it's getting.
Yeah, I will say that one. I loved it more at the start of the week before I thought it would get to where it is. And it's not, I think people get confused on that stuff. It's like not just because of that just makes it harder when you're like, oh, I thought this was going to be a spot that maybe would go a little bit overlooked because Warren's back. And, maybe people don't think it's the second guy. But I think the biggest thing is what people are talking about is, you hear about it with this. You hear about it with this. Like, he made some comments on it. Interestingly enough, Blickel went back yesterday on Leverage Lane. He's like, actually, he said similar stuff about Jaylen Warren. It was just earlier in the season. So now you're hearing the latest and seeing the box scores of Gainwell, and you're just going with the recency bias. It is $1,000 more. The props are similar. The projections are similar. Everything except the ownership is similar, but you got to find that $1,000 if you want to play Warren. But I think in the afternoon only, if you're late swapping, different things like that, I definitely think it's at least worth a try in some spots, because if you can find that money, I think the biggest thing for me, Hoop, is Metcalf is just severely underpriced. Like, he's almost $8K on FanDuel. He's 5,400 on DraftKings. You can see it on the Stone. Even at ownership, it doesn't matter. He's got he's more likely to be optimal than guys like Jamar Chase on this slate, just because of the price, people playing that game, going to that spot, and what it looks like as a slate perspective. And the bigger factor is, like, how do you do it? But I think like a Metcalf Gibbs, if nothing else, is fine, because it's the setup of Gibbs gets those long touchdowns on the ground. It hurts Amon-Ra. It hurts Jameson Williams if Gibbs is doing that. And then it makes Metcalf make more sense versus just saying this because somebody was asking in the chat. If you had like a Metcalf Amon-Ra, I don't think you're dead, but if those two actually ceiling out, someone's got the game stack coming up over top of you, and then you're in big trouble for that version of it. So I would prefer Metcalf Gibbs if going secondary. What's your thoughts here?
Yeah, so I mean, just the Gainwell thing, because I think it's actually pretty important, is like, I think the reason that this guy's getting the ownership is because people want more pieces to this game, and it's kind of hard to go outside of the box and get like low owned guys. So like, he's the next viable guy, like in the list of viable players in this game when you factor in the price play. Like Title said, on the Lions side, it's like, it's Gibbs, Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams. Like, who else do you want to play? Nobody else. It's like tough to even make the case for anyone else, even like David Montgomery. So like, the Lions side is it's good because the offense is condensed, but it's also difficult when it comes to roster construction and game theory and that sort of thing, because whoever plays this game, it's going to be the same combination of plays, some combination of either Rodgers and Goff, Gibbs, Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams, DK Metcalf, and now the next guy is Gainwell that's getting the ownership. There's a lot of other potential pieces in this game, but man, for fantasy, it's like you look at the wide receiver twos for Steelers. It could be 4 different dudes. Tight end, it could be 4 different tight ends that get the action. So I like the game for sure, but my one concern, and it's a legitimate concern, is it's tough to play this in a way that the field's not going to be playing it. So I think you really need to factor in what you're doing with like your secondary stacks, or if this is your secondary stack, it should be in a primary stack that might be low owned, because there's just not many ways to play this to get unique, if that makes sense. And I do have one other point, but I just wanted to see what you guys thought about that, because it's a great game. It's a great spot to be, but how do you play? Even if you overstack it, like the overstack is going to be popular. The overstack is going to be Goff, Amon-Ra, Goff and 2 of Gibbs, Amon-Ra, Jameson, and then DK on the other side, and then probably Gainwell. Like, what else can you possibly do, I guess, is the question.
Yeah,
that's
where
David Montgomery.
Yeah, but it's like
I don't want to do.
Yeah, it's like he probably needs, but it's like, okay, you play David Montgomery, needs probably 2 touchdowns, right? Are you going to bank on Montgomery getting 2? He could.
I'd rather probably just not play any of it than play David Montgomery and hope he does score. And it's just, I mean, people don't have that. Tambo talks about all the time. Some random that gets you 16 and does well, but he's 2%. You need the whole lineup to still get there.
And you can say like, play the 6 guys, but it's like, I think a lot of people do that today, because this is the primary game. This is a game everyone wants to go to. The side, the DK Metcalf side, it's just very obvious that he's really underpriced, like Tambo said. I mean, the one thing that $30, very nice, appreciate that. Like, we never asked for anything like this. 10 apiece each. If you have one pick, if you have to pick one stack with all the money on the line, who would it be? All right, we'll cover this.
Baby, the mustache man.
Yeah, we'll cover this after this last game. We'll definitely circle back and get it answered for you. The one thing I will say, like, this is a really good spot for the Steelers. The Lions, they're getting no pressure up front, and their secondary is dog shit. And Aaron Rodgers, still at his age, has the ability to pick apart stuff like that. So I do think it's a really, really good spot for the Steelers here. It's a really good spot for a back and forth. Lions absolutely need to win this game. So just looking at it outside of the game theory stuff, like, this is a really, really good spot. And I did get a text from our guy Landa. His calls have been very good. Landa has been spot on with a lot of stuff. He goes, Lions, Steelers, overstacked for the win today, which I like the call, but the problem, I think, is getting like unique with it.
Yeah, I will go to that thing in a second there. Thanks to David. We appreciate you, and we'll definitely bring that up in just 1 second. But the play is the alternate guys, and I think the alternate guys are clearly on the Pittsburgh side. Like you said, the Lions, it's just so clean cut. It's Goff, it's Gibbs, it's St. Brown, it's Williams. You could go to Montgomery. I get it. Like, I talk about it all the time. You want to go to him in the D or something. That's if you're not on this. I'm talking about in the overstack, though. Warren, MVS, and Freiermuth are not being played. You have to put some of those guys into the stacks if you're looking to get different with it. Like, to Hoop's point, when you're overstacking it and you're saying, but I've got 5 guys, but you look at it and I'm looking at your lineups right now and I'm not, but I see them and they got Gainwell, Metcalf, Goff, Amon-Ra, Jamo. Congrats. You're the same as everybody else in this game. It could work still if you get other stuff right in those other spots. But like Hoop said, I'd be looking for low ownership when people are struggling to find, like, where do I go on the chalk and not on the chalk? Like, if you're going to run that as your chalk 5-man stack, you got to look elsewhere for that. Another thing I'll say, and then we'll pull this one up, would be Goff, Gibbs, Amon-Ra, Williams, Detroit D, onslaught. Forget about Metcalf. Bust him up. Most of those lineups that have Goff will have Metcalf as the run back. So it's like already that's a bunch of lineups if you're playing the Lions D and you're not playing them. So I think that's another way you could try and go about it and just get 5 guys from the Lions and just hope that they drop 50 on the Steelers team and see what happens. Title, what you got for this one, my man? We got David A. Russelli in the building. Says $10 a piece to each you. If you have to pick one stack with all the money on the line, who would it be? Smash those likes, folks. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, and love seeing the kiddos in the picture there. We're all about the family. Title himself has a little one on the way as well, as most know now. So it's going to be a big year ahead for Title. But Title, what do you got for our man, David?
Yeah, very nice of you, David. Merry Christmas to you. Thanks for that. I'm going to play, and this is going to be my big single entry. I talked myself into Burrow and Chase. I mean, I'm seeing 4% Burrow, the second highest pass attempt on the slate. Jamar Chase, I don't even believe 16%. I think it's a great pivot from Amon-Ra, from Gibbs. Obviously, you can play them both. Highest receiving prop, highest reception prop. It's been bad for him, but you couldn't get a better spot. Implied for 27. So I think it is very low owned. I'm manually bumping, which I rarely do. So I'm playing Burrow, Chase in my high dollar single entry.
I like that call quite a bit. I actually found a lineup I was looking at on here. I'll see what's open after we get out of here. But I found one I like that's got Burrow, Chase, and Higgins, actually, and I can get away with it. So I'm going to give that a swirl and see what happens. Hoop, what do you got for our man, David? What's your thoughts? Yeah, you know mine. It's Minshew. I'll give it away again. I yelled it 100 times.
Yeah. I do like the Bengals call. I was considering that, but I guess I'll just go to my Cowboys. I think that game is going to go very under-owned. It's going to be Dak to CD. And then the other kind of random that I do want in this team is someone just touched on it. Actually, someone put the Mike Evans 2 touchdowns. Yeah, right here. Mike Evans part of the as a one-off in that the Cowboy stack. So.
I like it. I thought you were just going to go to Baker and Mike Evans. Baker, Mike Evans.
I don't hate it. I mean, shit. I mean, you look at it with Baker. It's been bad, but it's like, man, he's got all his pieces there. Like, he's got all the pieces, and then their offense is finally kind of healthy. So if it was ever going to be a Baker week, this could be it. But yeah, my official one will be Dak.
Yeah, you can't swap to Tet in the afternoon because Tet plays in the morning. So you could swap to Thomas Jr. You could swap to Franklin. There's definitely swaps that you can make in the afternoon. You could go down to Mooney and get money up from there. Like, there's a couple different ways you could go. But I do
Sutton's right there. Sutton's 57. Like, yep. There's options. Sutton, if you want to, I mean, take a huge flyer. Marvin Harrison, if maybe you think he plays more than
just play Michael Wilson if you're playing a receiver on there.
Randy Moss.
But now you need now Moss is almost 7K. So like I don't even know if you can.
Maybe it should be 9K. I don't
know. Moss Jr.
Price so nice, 6,900, man. You got to like it. So that's the spot. Maybe you can just find the money and move it up. But I think, you can move your Gibbs Metcalf down and play Michael Wilson and something else. Like you could do it that way. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways you could go. But yeah, I think the call out there, at least of the Gibbs on his own. The one thing about Gibbs on his own, and again, he's going to have ownership, so you can't get away from that. But there's going to be a lot of Gibbs Metcalf, Gibbs on his own, or Gibbs with the defense, or like that's what slows this game down or sort of makes it work. If Gibbs has his 58-point game, that's typically going to hurt a guy like Amon-Ra or J-Mo or those guys that rack it up because he's probably getting those yards on the ground, he's scoring in the end zone, et cetera, et cetera. It's just that's what I'd be thinking about if you're looking to land like one spot in this game. I think that's fine. All right. Anything else, Title, from you that you want to talk about before we get out of here?
Man, I didn't. Evans is always banged up, but the dude always finds his way to 1,000. So yeah, 234 per game. I'm not sure he's going to be doing that, but I do think he gets fed. And I always like looking differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. 8,200 on FanDuel for Mike Evans, whereas he's 6,600, 6,300 on DK. So definitely a big price difference there. Yeah, no, I think this is a fun slate. A lot of people are going to go cheap stacks to spend up for the Gibbs, the Bijans of the world. I think Stars and Scrubs is good. But yeah, my single entry, like I said, I'm going to kind of flip it a little bit and spend up at quarterback. I know Hoop mentioned the Josh Allen stuff. Reminds me kind of similar to the Trey McBride last week. Everyone forced himself to spend down at tight end. It was a different salary slate as well. And then he went and got 40 plus. So yeah, I like finding Stars and Scrubs and finding two studs in the same game and doing it that way. So good luck to everybody. This is a fun slate.
Man, I wish Michael Wilson's name had one more S in it so I could say you can't spell Michael Wilson without Moss, but he does have stun in his name. Talk about getting sunned by Randy Moss. Like, this is the guy, man. This could be him today. Again, Hoop, any final thoughts from you, Hoop? Anything else you want to mention before we get out of here?
No, solid show. I just wanted to go through and kind of talk through, I guess, maybe some of the adjustments after the show, like that I'm going to make based on what we talked through. Definitely the Dallas Chargers stuff, I think, is Dallas or Cowboys Chargers, I think, is a spot I'm going to make sure that I have decent exposure to. That Bengals situation, I think we all got higher on that as the show went on. So that, those three teams, I think, are teams that I want to make sure I get more of: Chargers, Cowboys, and Bengals. So thought we did it was interesting conversations around all three of those, but those are the spots that I want to, I'm going to increase here after the show. But yeah, good luck to everyone, obviously, in their contest today. And let's get those Ship It Nation logos to the top.
And in the best ball streets or Survivor streets out there.
Survivor,
it's a fun week.
A lot of stuff's coming. Season long. Don't forget about Hoop season long.
And season long.
My two guys put up 70 something, so I should get myself a championship there.
There you go.
Keon Coleman, a healthy and active for.
Oh wow,
he's so dust.
Crazy.
The season long, by the way, boys, that did not work out. Williams, my guy got Puka for 49.5 or whatever it was in that scoring system, and I got Williams for like 11. The Moore touchdown last night did help me at the very end. That got me back into the Yahoo ranks of like 50-50, but we'll see how it goes. So yeah, I thought it was a really good show. It's a lot of fun breaking it down with you guys and just being able to go through, see some of the changes that we make throughout. If you guys do want to check us out, we mentioned it earlier, but you can go to the site, get in today for less than $10, but really the best deal, best value on the right-hand side there, $19 for the next 5 days. That's pretty solid considering the rest of today, tonight, Monday Night Football, the big slate for Christmas Day. If you're playing NBA on Christmas Day, that's included. You got Saber Sim for both. You're in the Discord community. There's really no better offer. Like Hoop always says, there's not much you're going to spend less than $20 on and be like, damn, what a bad decision that was. If you were ever looking for a time to check us out, just go to the site, shipitnation.com. Simply click Join the Nation. The trials will pop up right in front of you. Take the best value. It's $19. You'll be good to go. Hop in the Discord and hang out. I'm sure there'll be some good coming to America fun in there throughout the day as we see these touchdowns scored and have some fun as we sweat it out. So thank you guys for watching. Appreciate everybody. Wish you all happy holidays for all the different holidays that you celebrate out there. For Title, for Hoop, and for myself, ToeTagginTambo. Let's ship it.